Ranger Ethan Cole, who had been reviewing field notes at his desk, froze. The noise was sharp, panicked, too rhythmic to be an animal scratching, too emotional to ignore that he moved to the heavy door, fingers brushing the rifle that hung beside it. Instinct, not intent. Slowly, he pulled the latch and opened the door. Standing on the porch, drenched in morning dew, was a baby gorilla. Its tiny fists beat against the wood again and again, each strike weaker than the last. Its wide brown eyes shimmered with fear and urgency. The high-pitched cries that followed were not playful. They were pure, primal desperation, a sound that pierced straight through the heart. Ethan dropped to one knee, lowering himself to the infant's level. Every rule in his training told him to stay back, to call for a team, to maintain distance. But something in that trembling little body erased every thought of protocol that he extended a hand. Calm. Open. The baby gorilla immediately reached out and grasped his fingers, small leathery palms trembling against his. It tugged hard, then turned, pointing toward the distant line of acacia trees with unmistakable urgency. Ethan understood. The message wasn't in words, but in the desperate movement of that tiny arm. Follow me. All right, he murmured softly. Show me. He grabbed his field kit and stepped out into the grass, keying his radio. Station 3 to command. Possible wildlife distress call. Following a gorilla infant near the acacia ridge. Request backup. Non-aggressive. 20 minutes out. Static. Then a faint acknowledgement point 20 minutes. He didn't have that long. The little gorilla was already darting forward, knuckles and feet pounding the ground in frantic rhythm. Every few seconds, it stopped to glance back, ensuring Ethan was keeping pace. Its movements were filled with panic, yet precise. A compass pointing him straight towards something critical. The open savanna gave way to scattered trees, their twisted shadows stretching long across the ground. The further they went, the heavier the air grew, thick, damp, tense. Even the birds were silent now. Then Ethan saw it. Ahead, near a cluster of rocks, a massive silverback gorilla was pacing. His dark fur glistened with sweat, his shoulders rolling with contained power. Each step made the earth seem to vibrate. His deep, rumbling growl was not loud, but it carried, a sound that lived in the chest more than the ears. Ethan stopped. His breath caught. Every ranger knew that an agitated silverback was the most dangerous creature on the continent. His stance, his glare, his barely restrained energy all screamed warning. The baby gorilla ran straight past him. Easy. Ethan whispered. He lowered his shoulders, kept his gaze down, the universal sign of respect. He didn't dare show fear. The father gorilla's black eyes locked onto him, sharp and assessing. The air was a wire pulled to breaking. Then the baby did something unthinkable. It ran back to Ethan, grabbed his pant leg, and pulled, urging him forward. The infant ignored the towering figure of its father completely, trusting this human to follow. The silverback's growl deepened, a low thunder from his chest. But he didn't attack. He simply watched. Ethan took a slow, deliberate step forward. Another. The father's nostrils flared.
Follow me.
His chest expanded, but he stayed still. Together, man and infant crossed the invisible boundary of fear. The baby led him toward a patch of dense foliage near a rocky slope. The ground was wet, the air thick with the smell of rain and earth. And then, Ethan saw her. The mother gorilla lay half-hidden at the base of a granite outcrop. A massive slab of rock had shifted during the storm, sliding down and pinning her left arm beneath its crushing weight. Her chest rose shallowly. Her face, usually serene and expressive, was drawn tight with pain. Her dark eyes flickered open and met Ethan's. She didn't move. She didn't fight. She simply looked at him, a silent plea for help. To Ethan's throat tightened. The rock was enormous, easily half a ton. Even with machinery, it would take a team to lift it. But she didn't have a team. She had minutes, not hours. Behind him, the father gorilla had moved closer. His looming presence filled the clearing like a thundercloud. The air smelled of musk and fear, but his eyes, those deep, intelligent eyes, burned with something else entirely. Grief. Ethan's mind raced. He radioed again, voice shaking. Command, this is Cole. I have a trapped adult female gorilla. Severe crush injury. Backup ETA. Static. Then, 20 minutes minimum. She didn't have 5. Ethan turned to the silverback, heart hammering. I need your help, he whispered. He didn't expect understanding, but the words came anyway. He pointed to the rock, then to his own arm, mimicking a lifting motion. Then he pushed with both hands, showing the futility of his strength alone. The silverback tilted his head, watching. His massive chest rose and fell. The growl that followed wasn't anger. It was a low, resonant sound of comprehension. Ethan grabbed a thick fallen branch, thick as his thigh, wedging it beneath the rock as a lever. He braced his feet, pushed down, and groaned with effort. The wood bent, but didn't move the slab an inch. The baby whimpered. The mother moaned faintly. The sound tore through him, and then a shadow fell across his hands. A massive black hand, scarred, calloused, ancient, closed around the other end of the branch. Ethan froze. The silverback had stepped in beside him. His arm, thick as a tree trunk, anchored the lever with perfect precision. He met Ethan's gaze for half a second. No threat, no fear, only intent. Okay, Ethan breathed. Together, he nodded once. They pushed, the air filled with sound, the grinding of stone, the snapping of wood fibers, the guttural roar of effort. The ground trembled. The rock groaned, but held. Sweat poured down Ethan's face. Again, he shouted, resetting the branch. The silverback adjusted his grip. They heaved once more, every sinew of human and ape straining as one. The slab shifted an inch, then another. The sound of rock scraping rock screamed through the clearing. The mother gasped, her body convulsing in pain. Her trapped arm was nearly free. One more. Ethan yelled. The silverback roared, a sound so raw, so powerful it seemed to shake the clouds themselves. He put everything into that final push. Ethan's boots dug deep into the mud, muscles burning, teeth gritted. The rock moved again, 3 inches, then 6. Enough! With a final cry, the mother pulled her arm free and collapsed, cradling it to her chest. Silence. The forest held its breath. The baby gorilla rushed forward, pressing its tiny head against her neck, chittering softly. She gathered the infant close with her good arm, murmuring low, comforting sounds. Ethan stumbled backward, falling to the ground, chest heaving, mud streaked across his face. He looked up, and there, beside him, the great silverback stood, panting just as hard. For a long, breathtaking moment, they stared at each other, two beings who had shared something beyond reason. The silverback looked down at his mate, then back at Ethan. His gaze softened. No threat, no dominance, just understanding. He gave a low, gentle grunt, a sound that vibrated with meaning. Then he turned to his family, touching the mother's shoulder lightly before settling beside her. That was the scene the rescue team stumbled upon minutes later, a man sitting motionless in the mud, side by side with a gorilla family. No fear between them, only shared exhaustion and peace. The team halted, rifles lowered, stunned. Ethan slowly stood and raised a hand. No darts, he said quietly. They're fine. When the tranquilizer guns lowered, so did the tension. The silverback glanced once at the humans, gave a final snort of acknowledgement, and led his family deeper into the forest shadows. Later, veterinary scans confirmed that the mother gorilla's arm would heal, bruised, battered, but saved. Had they waited another 10 minutes, she would have lost it. Ethan sat alone on the porch that evening, staring out across the savannah as dusk turned gold to violet. He could still feel the tremor of the gorilla's strength beside him, still see the intelligence in those dark eyes. He whispered into the fading light. You understood me. That day redefined everything he believed about the line between man and nature. Because when a baby gorilla knocked on a door and a ranger chose trust over protocol, they didn't just save a life. They proved that empathy is universal, that courage can speak without words, and that sometimes the wild itself invites us to remember what it means to be human.